Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Just wanted to talk quickly about the street vendors, pop-up vendors, flea markets. Um, those are buzzwords today. I can remember always looking at street vendors and just like, they ain't got no real job. That's how we kind of looked on them. And I mean, I've been guilty of that. But I remember some years reading an article on street vendors, and we always looked at, well, we got real jobs or people, especially people who make good money. Come to find out, those street vendors were making more money than the good money because they were hustling out there, and we put a bad word on hustling, but they were doing business back in the day, and they were making legitimate money. They were making legal money. They weren't doing anything wrong. Not saying that everybody, but there were a lot of people out there who were street vendors. They were selling their water, they sell their fruit, they have a little store. I mean, that was an alternative for people in some of these communities that didn't have any places to hardly shop, and especially in the black community. So you knew about certain street vendors you went to. You were accustomed to them. They were out there all the time. And I think eventually they kind of stopped a lot of it in certain parts of the city. But these people were legitimate. They were entrepreneurs. And then later things got more fancier. You start calling them pop up shops, and really, I mean, to me, it's just a fancy word for a street vendor. Um, but these are legitimate entrepreneurs, and really, in reality, is one of the more cost effective way of starting a business and going on to maybe what you maybe want to do, expand and do more, maybe open up your storefront. Because the reality, guys, today is businesses are changing. There is no set rules anymore. It used to be a time where you had to do certain things, and even today we get caught up in, oh, you got to do all this, you got to do social media, you got to do all that. That's not necessarily true. You can be grassroots if you want to business. Your grassroots can be just right there on at a festival on the street, selling your water, whatever you got to do, in a legitimate space where you're paying for or whatever. But don't sleep on these businesses that are like that now. We're having to take business outside. You're not necessarily only got businesses indoors where you got this established business, like that. And people have commented on the new Black Wall Street market as it just being a flea market. That's your opinion, and it may not be for everyone, but I think it's wonderful because it's bringing in an atmosphere to a community of just being able to come together and sit and eat and shop and different things. It's not just that mall atmosphere. It's more of a family oriented atmosphere. They have music, they have events going on, and they're doing a lot of things. And not to say that malls don't do that anyways, but it just doesn't have that feel for me. And the some of the establishments are unique in there. Some people may not consider it unique, but I truly do consider it unique. And for anybody to tackle something like what they did at New Black Wall Street, it deserves some commendability from them because they have Mr. Allen who and his organization have put a lot of money and work. And of course, they do have bumps and bruises, but it's a great place to come. They have so much unique things. The art gallery out there is off the chain. They have a tea room for women who can come out and do their teas. It's so much. They have a stage. You can do events, and eventually you're gonna be able to do events out there, weddings and all kinds of things. So, call it a flea market. Flea market was all some communities have. You got communities that ain't have no malls or places to go. They have to go all the way on the other side of town. It may not have been the greatest, but the flea market was the only place you can go and get you some hair care. You got a beauty supply store out in the new Black Wall Street Market. Um, hey, you may get some street vendors or pop-up vendors now who can sell hair care, who may not been able to afford a building. It's very expensive to even lease a place. If you can't even hardly find a place to live, you know, think about commercial real estate, how expensive that is. So I'm just saying, don't sleep on these street vendor, pop-up vendors. I'm one of those pop-up vendors. And trust me, it's a lot of work into it. And you are to be successful, you've got to be organized, plan, business plan, just like somebody else. It may not be written out and all that, but trust me, you still got to have a plan. You still got to be organized. So I'm thankful to God to allow me to be able to be a vendor, to do the work that I do. I don't own a commercial building, but trust me, it's going to take me to different levels. And I support all of those street vendors. Kudos to the old school street vendors who used to do this back in the day. If you even started out with the newspaper, you're selling your water bottles. Not like the kids in the street, running around and trying to ask folks for $1 for a bottle to sell their bottled water. But I'm talking about people who were really doing legitimate business. And so don't sleep on them and degrade them and downsize them as nothing. They're not doing this just a flea market, because it's not. It's a legitimate business. Thank God. Thanks, guys. Bye.